Welcome back to Firehouse Novi. Now that we've talked about open burning and legal fires for your backyard, we're going to talk a little bit about barbecue safety and something that's on all our minds during our Michigan summers. Fire Marshal?
Chief, first of all, I want to explain that there are times when you can't even have a barbecue at your residence, and it's illegal to have that. And this is going to be the cases where in a multifamily dwelling, apartment buildings, condominium buildings, okay, on balconies, you cannot have a barbecue grill, whether it be an LPG grill or a charcoal grill, any type of open flame cooking devices. Those are illegal on balconies. And the reason for that is because about every other year we end up having a structure fire, and it happens nationwide, where somebody has a grill on their balcony and it malfunctions, or maybe even carelessness occurs, and we have a fire that occurs in that apartment building or the condominium building. And in that case there, not only you're affecting your own residents, but you're also affecting your neighbors too. Okay, so the code, a few years back, the codes came out that said, nope, you can no longer do this. You cannot have an open flame barbecue grill on a balcony of a multifamily dwelling. And then every year, we send out notifications to the apartment buildings, the property managers, right, and notify them that this is illegal. We ask them to police that as well, to notify their residents that they can't do that. And notoriously every year we still find people do that, and we ask them to remove it as well.
Now what about someone that has an apartment or a condo on a first floor and they've got a patio area? They can have a barbecue grill, and as long as they're far enough out, right?
Exactly. And you want to be at least 10 feet away from any type of combustible construction.
Okay.
So yes, if you're on the first floor in the patio area and you take your grill and you roll it out so that you're a good safe distance, at least minimum 10 feet away from the building, right, then that's legal to be able to do that.
Okay.
Okay. And then the whole purpose is for safety, so that if something does malfunction with the grill, it's not going to catch the building on fire because you have that safe distance away from it.
All right,
okay?
That makes sense then.
So that's the first thing to bring up. Then the next thing is we'll talk about some barbecue safety. And we have here just an LPG propane gas grill, and just a couple of safety things we want to talk about is that when you're grilling in your backyard, and again a safe distance from your house, never grill inside the garage. If the weather turns inclement, leave it outside. Do not bring the grill inside your house. Okay, and we can talk more about carbon monoxide, and that's the biggest hazard with that, is you get carbon monoxide poison gas that can get into your house and cause a health hazard or a fire hazard as well. Not let alone malfunction of the grill could cause a fire in the garage and catch your house on fire. So again, grilling, even in your home, you want to be a safe distance away from the house, okay, to start off with.
What about the most popular, the wood decks on the back of the house, and you've got a barbecue grill, like so many people do?
Like
What's
so many
the safe
people
way?
do. Again, it's keeping it 10 feet away from your house. You want to stay away from the railing, so if something does happen with the grill, it doesn't catch the railing on fire. Okay. So again, keep that safe distance away from the house.
Okay.
Okay. So when it comes to grilling safety, when you're using an LP gas, and we're going to talk to you about some LP safety, but the first thing you want to do is when you hook up your tank and you turn on your tank, you want to make sure that you don't smell any gas from leaking, a hose leaking or a regulator leaking. Okay. If you suspect that you have a leak, what you want to do is just get a spray bottle and put a little bit of soap inside with water, and when you turn on the tank valve, you can spray a little bit of water on it, and if there's a leak there, though, it'll bubble up and it'll show you where the leak is. And sometimes it's just a connection that's loose, and
that the homeowner can tighten on their own.
You tighten that up and on your own, and that's fine. Okay.
Okay. So the rubber hose that goes from the LPG tank to the grill, and then the valve where you adjust the size of the flame could also be part of where it's leaking.
Into those places you could possibly leak it. So if you smell gas, you want to test it out first before you light anything. Test it out first and fix that leak. If you cannot find the leak, or you cannot fix it, you want to just turn your gas off, leave it alone, and have it serviced by somebody who knows what they're doing with that.
And the scary part about this is if you can smell it, that means it's not being consumed by fire.
That's right.
And you've got a problem there.
Right. That's why you want to do this before you light the grill on fire. You want to check and smell for gas and see make sure there's no leaks. Okay. Now, if you find the leak with the valve, and we can show the valve right here on this tank, if you find that the leak is on this valve right here and it's bubbling up, what you want to do with that tank is you want to close the top valve off. You want to get away from that valve. We'll take a brief second here. There we go. What you want to do, if you find that you have a leak in this valve right here, this is where your hose hooks up, but if the leak is in this valve, and when you turn off the valve, it still is leaking, you want to get away from that tank, get it away from the house as far as possible, and call 911 and let the fire department come out and respond to that.
Okay, so if you spray that on here right now, there shouldn't be any bubbles because it's not leaking, right?
Nope.
And that's a soapy solution. If there's any leak at all, you're going to start getting bubbles building on bubbles wherever the leak is at.
Exactly. Okay. So that's a case there. There's nothing you can do to fix that leak. So you want to get away from that and call 911 and let the fire department come out.
Okay.
Okay. I'd be more than happy to take a look at that and take care of that problem for you. Okay. So back to our grilling safety. So we've turned our gas on. When you go to light your grill, this is a gas. And what happens is when you turn the burner on and before you light it, you get a buildup of gas inside this grill. So you want to make sure that the grill lid is open so that you don't have an accumulation of gas inside of there. What would happen is if you let it build up a little bit before you go to light it, you'll have a little mini explosion, okay? And could burn you, could hurt you, all right? So you want to make sure that this lid is open before you turn the burner on and use either the auto ignition or a lighter to light that grill.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have that buildup of that gas, all right? So we've got our gas grill lit. The next thing we want to talk about is your clothing. When you're working with a grill, whether it be a charcoal grill or an LPG grill, there's an open flame there. You don't want to have loose clothing on that's going to, as you're reaching over for your food and your hamburger or flipping your chicken, have loose clothing on that's going to possibly catch on fire.
Right.
Okay, so be mindful of what you're wearing, your clothing, so that doesn't catch on fire and burn you. Also, the tools that you're using, you want to use a long handle spatula or tongs that to flip your burger and work with your food. You want to use the long handles again so you don't get your hand over the flame or any clothing over the flame to catch on fire.
What about what the kids wear now, the hoodies that have the strings and they can tie the neck?
Same thing.
Another dangerous thing around something like this.
Yep, certainly.
Well, in a second we're going to talk a little bit more about charcoal grills and some of the safety that's involved with that, and also getting one of these LPG tanks filled and how to do that safely, transport it to and from the filling location so that you don't have a problem with that. Because what's inside here is not just a gas, it's liquid propane. So we'll be back in a few minutes and we'll talk about that at that time.